my wife did ask me this morning a question, which I found kind of funny. And she's like, Mike, did you see the dog bowl? And I'm like, I didn't know he could. So it was kind of weird.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's discussion. My name is Cosmo Gazania, and with me today is Michael Rodriguez, who is our backup and data expert. Today, we are discussing backing up Microsoft 365. So, Mike, I'm in the cloud, I'm Microsoft. Why do I need to back up Microsoft 365?
Well, it's simple. Okay, so Office 365, Microsoft, they back up your data beyond contrary belief, right? So they do back up your data, but they only back it up every 12 hours, which you would think is good, but they only hold on to it for 14 days. And that's where you start running into your problems, right? So let's just say data was deleted accidentally or otherwise, right? It's only recoverable for a certain amount of time. So at that point, you start thinking about other issues, right? So obviously data loss, things with regulatory systems like, a HIPAA certification. Some of those regulations require that you retain the data for 7 years in order to be compliant. So 12 hours and 14 days, not as robust as you would like to think.
Right. I think it was expressed to me that also Microsoft themselves put in their contracts that they recommend a third party be out there doing that backup for you. So it is a good practice to have Office 365 backed up. What does Continuity Centers do that might be a little bit different than some of the other solutions out there?
All right, so unlike a lot of the competitors that we have in IT support, when you call us, you speak to an actual technical support specialist, right? Whether you're on the phone with the CEO or whether you're on the phone with level 1, all the way through, right? You're always going to get a tech support specialist on the phone. You're going to get expert knowledge from a local seasoned IT professional. So it's not like first line, second line, third line. It's literally next man up, go in, get it done, move on, and that's kind of how we do things around here. The other thing we do is we follow a standard, which I believe should be an industry standard, and I think it's slowly becoming that. But it's called the 3-2-1 rule. Okay, so you get 3 copies of your data on 2 different media types and 1 copy offsite. Always, no questions. That's always the way it goes. So a lot of people don't exactly do that, and we like to. I'd say lastly, probably something along the lines of gold and platinum level partnerships. We have them with all of our software provider. That makes us a full service continuity firm offering backup as a service and 24/7 support. So you're never really alone in your time of need with CC. We're always here when you need us.
Right. All right, good points there. So most of organizations use Microsoft Suite as really their core application, right, for collaboration, for messaging, for even inter-office teams, for instance, and things of that nature. Does all those nuances also get backed up, or is it just your email that's getting backed up?
Oh no, you get everything backed up. So with the latest version of the software that we're using, you can back up everything across the 365 suite. So you get from individual mailboxes at its most granular level, and that, yes, includes like calendar items and notes, which a lot of people seem to ask about. It's kind of funny to me, restoring calendar items from a year ago, but it does happen. It also includes all your Teams data, your SharePoint Online, your OneDrive, and all of the permissions that come along with all of that data as well.
Right. One of the big headaches in a lot of our customers is obviously security, and that means viruses and malware that are present in their emails, right, in their messaging systems. Do those get backed up also?
So yes. So there's this old adage that everybody uses, bad in, bad out, right? So if you open up something that has malware, it absolutely can get backed up as well, which means that your Office 365 data can get infected. This is why we use something called air-gapped restore points. Okay, if a restore point is infected, it could be purged from the backup set without concern of it infecting the rest of the data. and we use that on our object storage immutability flag, which allows it to kind of almost like tapes used to be, where they were offline copies of that data. So you have your live data here, you have your offline copy, and if something gets infected here, it doesn't exactly have the chance to get to that data, because in that object storage, it tells you, no, you can't touch this for 7 days, 14 days, whatever you decide to choose, that flag gets chosen for. So that's actually a good thing to have. So if it does get infected and Office 365 has bad data, we can actually remove all of that data and then just restore the clean data back to its point right before it happened.
Hmm. You mentioned the hot term these days, immutability. I mean, does that sort of mean like cold storage or air gapping, that kind of stuff that used to be kind of mentioned in the past?
Yeah, it's the same. It's almost the same thing, right? So it's a flag that gets put onto your data,
Okay.
and you use the perfect word, like we said before, the air gap, right? So that air gap between something would be like a tape or an object storage. So here's your live data, here's your object storage. You have a gap between the two because they're not constantly in contact with each other. So it's really write only, or excuse me, read only, and not writable, right? So you can't touch that data for whatever you decide to put that immutability flag on. You understand?
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. So that kind of taking it off the network, kind of, so to speak, makes it a lot more safer, a lot more permanent, right? In case there is some major Armageddon or something that destroys all my data.
Absolutely. Yeah. And
Yeah.
again, with object storage, you can hold on to that as long as you like. It
Yeah.
all depends on, individual clients and what they need.
Gotcha. So lastly, what's really some good, what should I be looking in a good backup solution for Microsoft 365?
Okay. So you want an all-in-one solution. You want something that can do everything across the entire 365 suite. You also want quick access to your data. You want it granular and you want it easy, right? That's important. You don't want anything complex, because in your time of need, the last thing you want to do is try to jump through hoops in order to get your data back. You want to make sure that it meets all your legal and compliance requirements. That's very important. Because of obvious reasons, your certifications are definitely important. The 3-2-1 rule, which is what I mentioned before, that's extremely important. That gives you different methods in which you can grab your data back if something were to happen to it. And I'd say good cloud object storage with immutability, as we just discussed, making sure that that object storage has some type of flag so that there's an air gap, so that if something happens, it won't happen to the rest of your data.
Excellent. Mike, always a pleasure and always informative speaking with you. Thank you for your time today. Thank you everyone for listening in, and we will speak to you real soon.